Hi there, today I'm going to show you how you can send SMS messages from Marketo using the Telnyx SMS API. As we all know, text messaging is becoming ever more important when it comes to engaging with our customers, and you can use them within Marketo for cool use cases like sending webinar reminders to remind people to attend. So in this post, I'll be using webhooks in order to make the API requests to the Telnyx API to send the SMS messages. And if you're not familiar with webhooks and you need a refresher, then you can check out the Marketo webhook guide with examples where I walk through how to set up webhooks and how to debug them. So that's a good foundational post for this video. And then another one you should check out is why you might want to do your SMS marketing with Telnyx. So in here, I walk through all the advantages of using Telnyx, from pricing to branded SMS to their Zapier integration to number pooling and a lot of other cool features. And I also explain what the best number type is for you, because there's pros and cons to using different number types like long code, short code, toll-free versus alphanumeric. So I recommend checking out that post too before taking a look at this video. In this video, I'm going to focus on how you can get set up creating a webhook to send SMS messages within Marketo. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to follow this link here, and we're going to create our Telnyx account. So you just fill in your first name and your email address, and it's worth noting here that it is absolutely 100% free to create a Telnyx account. I've already got one. So I'm going to log into my account. And then the first thing we're going to do is, we currently don't have any numbers in our account, so we'll need an SMS number in order to send an SMS message to our customers. So since I live in San Diego, I'm going to search San Diego for a number. And then I want it to be SMS enabled. I'll go search numbers. And I'm just going to add this first one to my cart. So we can see it's going to cost me $1 up front and a recurring cost of $1 every month in order to have this number. I'm going to place that order. Now, the next thing we need to do is we go down to messaging here, programmable messaging, and we need to create a messaging profile. And then we're going to add this phone number to this messaging profile. So let's create our first messaging profile. We're going to call it Marketo SMS notifications. And we do have the option, it's completely optional, to send all the information that is going through this messaging profile to a certain webhook URL. So what I recommend doing to help with debugging is to use a webhook bin to send these requests to. The one I like the most is offered by webhook.site. So I'll just clear all of these. So this is the webhook URL. So I'm going to copy this. So then all the information that's passing through this messaging profile will be sent to this URL, and then I can check it out here for debugging. You can, of course, also use this for Zapier, where you can send all inbound messages to this messaging profile to a Zap using this URL as well. Or there's probably other applications where you can put different URLs in here where the messaging profile information will be sent to. You can also manage your allowed destinations. I'm going to let all 245 regions be allowed. And then I'll explain what number pool is later on, but I'm just going to enable that for now. And I'll go into some of these settings later on, but for the moment, I'm going to check all of them and hit save. Okay, so now we've got our messaging profile. The next step we're going to do is we're going to come into Marketo, create a new webhook, test Telnyx SMS. Then we're going to go to the Telnyx documentation here. And we want to send a message. And we can see this is the endpoint we need to send the message to. So we're going to copy that into the URL field here. And then the message body is going to be this. So let's paste that in here. So the from phone number is going to be the phone number from our account. So if I go to numbers, my numbers, what we're going to do is we're going to copy this phone number. So there's a little icon right beside the phone number here you can click on. And then I'm going to paste that in here. So that's the from number. I'm going to put in my personal phone number here. Please don't spam this number. And then I'm just going to say, hello, Workflow Pro. And we can set the response type to be JSON, because as we can see from this example here, this example response is in JSON format, but we won't need to do anything with the information we receive back from Telnyx. So I can leave that as none here. And then I'll create. One thing I forgot to mention earlier on is in order to send this SMS, we need to associate this number with a messaging profile. So I'm going to associate this phone number with the Marketo SMS messaging profile, and there'll be a monthly recurring charge of 10 cents for doing this. So I'll accept that. And now we also need to provide authorization. In order to be able to send this SMS message, we need to let Telnyx know we've got the necessary permissions to send using this phone number. So in here, as is mentioned in the documentation, we need to specify the content type header and the authorization header. So it's going to be content type and we're going to copy in application JSON. And then it's going to be authorization. Sorry, that should go here. It's going to be authorization. Then this is going to be bearer. And then we need to put in our API key. So to get our API key, we're going to go down to account settings, keys and credentials, and then we're going to create a brand new API key for this. And then you can just copy this straight away, go back to the admin section here, and then just paste in that API key. So now we've got everything we need set up to send this test Telnyx SMS. We've got the body of the SMS message set up, and we've got the necessary headers. So I've just created a very simple requestable campaign. It's got a campaign is requested trigger. In the flow, I'm going to put test Telnyx SMS as the webhook I want to request. And then from within the database, you can see I was testing this out earlier on. All I'm going to do is request campaign, webhook requestable campaign, and then I'll run now. And then I'll pause the video while I wait for this to run. So we can see this is now completed. And when I refresh the activity log, I can see the sent Telnyx SMS here. So I'm just going to get my mobile phone. And I don't know if you can see this, but it appears there at the very bottom. Hello Workflow Pro at 1706. So this is how you can send your first SMS message through Marketo using Telnyx, and we got that done in under 10 minutes, including the introduction I gave you guys. So it's very quick and easy to set up. Now you can get a bit more advanced. As I mentioned in this SMS marketing post, with long code phone numbers, you're limited to 6 messages per minute per number. So if you need to send out webinar reminders to 100,000 people, you can't do that using one single long code number. You could go for a short code number, which can send 60,000 messages per minute, or use an alphanumeric sender ID to send out 60,000 messages a minute as well. However, a short code message costs thousands of dollars a month, whereas an alphanumeric sender ID it's not possible to receive responses to that number. So if you need to do two-way SMS, as I explain in a future blog post, then an alphanumeric sender ID is not the way to go. And short codes you can't send internationally with a Telnyx short code. So there's pros and cons with going with each method. If you go with short code, you can send at 60,000 messages per minute, but only in the US. If you go with alphanumeric, you can send at 60,000 messages per minute internationally and anywhere in the world, but you can't receive responses. A good Goldilocks combination is actually achieved through a feature called number pooling, where you purchase a lot of long code numbers and then you distribute your message volume across all the numbers in the number pool. And this helps deliverability. So for example, if you wanted to send 60,000 messages per minute, you could get 10,000 long code numbers and you put them all in a number pool, and then you can distribute the message volume across those 10,000 numbers. And long code number pools have very interesting features. So for example, here we can see skip unhealthy numbers. So if numbers within the number pool have been flagged for spam in the past, then we can skip those. Sticky sender means if you send someone a number, if you send someone an SMS from a number, the next time they receive a number from the number pool, it'll be from the same SMS, and this helps build consistency. So the person is always receiving SMS messages from the same number within your number pool. And then geomatch means if we've got the same local routing number as the location the person is living in, we'll always try to send the SMS message with that phone number. So if I'm in San Diego or Chicago, it'll always try and send me the SMS message from a San Diego or Chicago phone number. So these are some very cool features of number pools, and I explain a bit about that in the SMS marketing post, but you can also check out Telnyx's own documentation on number pools to learn a bit more about them. But I'm going to show you now in Marketo how you can send a message using number pools. So we're going to go back into the admin section. We're going to go new webhook, test Telnyx number pool. And for the first webhook, where we're just sending using a single long code phone number, you can copy the code from here. And then I've done the exact same with the number pool. You can copy this code directly from here too, instead of the Telnyx documentation. And then we're going to get the body of the message and put that in here. So you see we need to specify for the number pool, it's a bit different. Instead of specifying the from phone number, we're going to be sending from the messaging profile ID, and then the messaging profile will handle distributing the messaging volume across all the numbers in the messaging profile. So here we're going to copy the messaging profile ID, and then we're going to paste that in here. And you'll notice that I'm using a lead token here for the phone number. So if we go to my record here and we look for marketing phone, currently empty. Oh no, sorry, that's the lookup field. For marketing phone. So I'm just going to copy my phone number into here. I'm going to pull in this value using the lead token. So we can see it's to the for marketing phone value. We're going to pull in that value, and then we're going to go create. And then same as before, we need to specify our authentication and the content type. So edit, it's going to be content hyphen type, and then we're also going to have authorization. So it's good exercise to practice getting our key again. I'm going to copy this value Authorization is going to be bearer, and then paste in the key. Content type is application JSON, and we can copy that from here. Okay. And then now we're going to go back to our smart campaign. I'm going to swap in test Telnyx number pool. And then I'm going to go back to the lead record here. I'm going to request the campaign. And while this is waiting to run, I'll show you what's been sent to the webhook bin. So remember before, when I set up my messaging profile, I could specify a webhook for all the information passing through the messaging profile. I could set up a webhook where all the information passing through the messaging profile can be sent. So if I go to the webhook bin, I can see the API request that was made to Telnyx to send the first SMS message. I can see information like the text, the to phone number, and information about the to phone number. So the first one tells me that the status was sent. The next one tells me that the message was delivered. And same again, this is for the number pool. I can see that the number pool message was sent and it was also delivered. So if we go to the Marketo activity log now, we should see the exact same thing reflected. I'd show you, let me check my phone screen. Yeah, that came through as well. I don't know if you can see that. But let's refresh this. So sent, test, Telnyx number pool. We can see the activity log here. And then like this response data, we don't need to do anything with it, but this is what's also sent to the webhook bin here. So the webhook bin is just useful for debugging. Sometimes if the webhook doesn't send within Marketo, you can come in here to see if there's any more information you can find here that isn't in Marketo. So that's how you can send SMS messages across a number pool using Marketo. And in your messaging profile here, currently, I've only got one phone number associated with this messaging profile, but it's very easy. So let's say I want to go San Diego. We want these all to be SMS enabled. So I'm going to add 3 numbers to my cart. Let's go to my cart. And then I'm going to place the order. And now if I go to my numbers, if I want to associate these all with a messaging profile, all in one go. So with 3 phone numbers, you could just come in manually and click Marketo SMS notifications all the time. But if you have 100 phone numbers, you can go to bulk edit once they're all selected. And then you can select the messaging profile here and then go update. So I'll wait for that to finish. So once this is finished, we can see that all 4 phone numbers have been associated with the Marketo SMS notifications messaging profile. So when I send an SMS using this number pool webhook, it's going to distribute however many messages I need to send across those 4 phone numbers. So that's the advantage of number pool. As I mentioned, depending on your needs, a short code may also do what you need, or an alphanumeric sender ID. And I've made webhooks for those as well, which I'll show you quickly. So if you want to use a short code, you can see here, this is a short code phone number we're sending from. And as I mentioned, these cost about $2,000 a month. So you really do pay for being able to send 60,000 messages a minute. And there are strict criteria in order to be able to use them. You have to prove that you're not spamming people, basically. So it's the exact same endpoint as the test Telnyx SMS that we set up at the very start of this video. The only difference is you're going to swap in the short code in the from number. And then here, another trick is you can pull in smart campaign descriptions into the text parameter. and I'll show that in another blog post. If you want to find out more about that campaign description token and how you can use that to populate messages, then check out this webinar reminders post. So I show you how you can integrate these webhooks and sending SMS messages for webinar reminders. So check this one out. And I explain about the campaign description here and how you can use that. So that's how you can send using a shortcode phone number. Very simple. We've set up everything before. It's just a matter of swapping in the shortcode here. And then if you want to send using an alphanumeric send ID, it's the exact same endpoint. All you're going to do is you're going to put the alphanumeric sender ID. In this case, I'm using Telnyx in the from field. Then you put in the two phone numbers, same as before. It can be a lead token. You put in the text. Again, I'm using the smart campaign description here. And then you put in the messaging profile ID that you want to send from for the alphanumeric ID. So that's how simple it is to send SMS messages within Marketo using webhooks and the Telnyx API. As I mentioned, there's some follow-up posts you can check out. You can check out, first of all, which number type is best for you by reading about the pros and cons in the Marketo SMS marketing blog post. You can check out Marketo SMS integration webinar reminders post to see how you can use these to send webinar reminders from within Marketo. And then a very interesting one is how you can do two-way SMS using Telnyx and Zapier, where you can build a chatbot using Zapier that will be able to respond to certain keywords in text. Like if they text you help, you can send, please follow this link to get help in the response SMS. So I show you how to set that up using Zapier. So that's everything I had to show you today. If you have any questions, please comment on the YouTube video here, or feel free to comment on this blog post. And I'll put a link to this blog post in the description of the YouTube video. So you can find everything I went through here, find all the links to these posts and to the Telnyx documentation, and to sign up for your free Telnyx account. So I hope this was useful. Have a great day.